I think we're good. Can we... we can mute the microphone. Good. Well, this has been an absolute bugger of a job to try and get right. And I'm trying my best because I promise you guys I work hard on the content and I am trying my absolute best. But it's been a nightmare. So 1 second, let me get you guys hooked up. I can't have you uncomfortable watching the content. I need you guys to feel like you're part of the action, so to speak. So let me, make sure the YouTube settings are all okay. HBO, The Last of Us. Last of Us TV show. There you go. Right, making sure everything's set up the right way. That's good. Create that. Done. Down here. Last of Us done. Very good. Funny enough, not gaming, entertainment. It would fall under, I believe. Perfect. And we can get this. We get this going. Perfect. Right, good, good, good. Right, let me get you guys something more comfortable to stand on. Because how can you guys watch the show all uncomfortable like? So I'm trying to think, what's the best way of going about this? There we go. And we can pop you guys up here. There you go, you've got a bit of elevation now. Nice little shot of the Tom Origins picture there in the background. And we can lower it, there we go. Lower that down a little bit. Lower you guys down just a little bit more, about there. That should be enough, that should be good. Right, let's get the mood lighting on. Let's get the lighting going. Right, so the lamp is on. There we go. Have that aimed over at the chair. And then we can possibly get away with turning that off and dimming the far end lights. There we go. We're already setting up the atmosphere. Very nice, very good. Right, now I'm going to have to be able to interact with you guys via, I think, bringing this down just a smidge. There we go. Is that better? That's a bit better, isn't it? Right. That should be good. My Bluetooth earphones on. They are. Fantastic. Right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while, so let me get everything set up, ready to go. Let me cleanse the old palette. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, a little video game, I have it to hand here. A little video game called The Last of Us came out 10 years ago. It came out in 2013. And 13-year-old Tom lost his mind when he played that game for the very first time on his PlayStation 3. I then played it again on my PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, and then again on the PlayStation 5 twice. We did the entire game. We played through the entirety of the first game, part 1. Played through the entirety of it in an 8-hour live stream. It's up on the channel. You guys loved it. It's nearly got close to 100 views on an 8-hour live stream, which is phenomenal. So it shows how much love and support there is for that game and that series. And the sequel, trash. We don't talk about it. It's trash. But the amazing people over at HBO, the makers of Game of Thrones and people like that, I think even Westworld as well, if you've heard of that, as well as the amazing team behind the TV show Chernobyl, have collided their efforts together, as well as a bunch of like talented creators and virtual effects people and all acting and script writers and costume and makeup and sound and everything. All of them have put their amazing talents together to create the Last of Us TV show. and it's a weekly series where you'll have one episode a week. Here in the UK, it's often going to be a Monday, and over in the US, it's a day earlier, I believe, on a Sunday. So I'll be doing weekly episode reactions live, like this one, where we have the live stream set up, have a little bit of discourse at the start, I'll whack it on, I'll watch, and I'll observe at the same time. Which might be a little bit awkward the stream just to get that set up because it can't get copyrighted for the audio and the visuals if we don't show it. So there'll be some times where like the show's on and I'll be like watching it, listening to the dialogue, reacting to it, and then I'll like quickly unmute my microphone, tell you what I'm thinking, mute the microphone again. We're gonna have to work together here. We're gonna have to do a little bit of collaboration, help me out in the best way you can. But I've got the house to myself, it's lovely, it's brilliant, I've got my room all set up nice. We're gonna be able to watch the show together and watch it live. I'm a massive fan, hope some of you are too, and if you aren't already, I hope you get into it because of the TV show. And I'm also going to be doing shorts and breakdowns and things like that behind the scenes of the episodes after the reaction live streams and things like that. So lots of Last of Us content coming out weekly. I don't know how many episodes there are. I'm not sure yet, but this is the first one and it's about 70 minutes long. So it's a long episode to begin with, which is great. And I hope they only get longer. So let me just go and put the final settings on this computer over here. There we go. Right, good. There we go. Sweet. So we got the watch party going, and we are about to begin. So I have to get into the habit of being able to do this. I can be like, hi, now you can hear me. There we go. We're gonna have to do that a lot. So let us begin.
Contains
Okay. So, episode one, I'm about, see here, about 4 minutes in. In the first 4 minutes, by the way, this is a spoiler live stream, so obviously, sorry. But basically, about 4 minutes in, we've had the best 4 minute little introduction. We had two scientists in like 1990 something talking about infections and pandemics, a little bit on the nose for what we've experienced with COVID over the last couple of years. But we've essentially had some scientists have a bit of a chit chat about a pandemic and an illness and a virus spreading. Then this amazing true case study about a fungus that attacks an ant's brain and controls it as a puppet, mutates it and makes it do its bidding and things like that. It's a lot more scientific than that, but I'm just shortening it down a little second. But basically, yeah, about a fungus that spreads, and if it spreads to humans, it could be catastrophic, and billions of people could be infected with this disease. And a great little way of setting it up, because obviously they've not, the game doesn't touch too heavily upon how it spreads, apart from like its spores in the air. But we've heard from the cast and crew before the show even dropped that they're not doing the spores storyline with like little particles in the air, because they don't want their actors in gas masks 24/7, which does make sense. But they're doing it a different way, and it's more fungus related. And like, I'm sure science nerds are going to have a great time with YouTube videos explaining how it would actually be theoretically possible. Hello, good sir. You were here for when we were doing the Last of Us the video game live stream, and now you're here whilst we're doing the show live stream. So yeah, and then we just saw the little intro card, the Last of Us intro card for the very first time. The game music, they used the game music, which was on my bucket list of things they needed to use. They used that for the introduction. We got to see that it was obviously it says based on The Last of Us, written by Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann being the man who's responsible over at Naughty Dog in a big way for heading the Last of Us game series, and obviously his name features a lot in the credits as many different roles. Fingers crossed that's good things moving forward. But looks great, great intro card. Really good little setup and understanding to get it through your head and explain to you what's going on. And now we cut to 2003, which is a little bit different because I think the story in the game takes place in 2013. So we're going a little bit earlier than that. I don't know. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're not because we're seeing different dates. We'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to watch this next little bit. Obviously, to avoid copyright, I've got an earbud in so you guys can hear me. But I'm going to press mute, and then I'm going to watch this next little segment. And then when we get to like a little bit of a point, I'll have a little pause, recap what's going on, things like that. It's just an annoying thing on YouTube. Let us watch TV shows with our channels. Let us watch and react to our TV shows live with our channels. Stop copyrighting us, man. It's annoying. Making content for TV shows is hard. If there's channels out there like React channels that do it, I don't know how you guys do it. It just buggers me. It winds me up. But I'm gonna watch the rest of this because this is amazing. Really good show so far. Let's go. Right. Right, I'm just gonna take this moment because it's like don't want it to just be mute the entire live stream. But we're now 15 minutes in. Yeah, about 15 minutes. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, and this is 15 minutes in, a fantastic show. A show that's going to hook me, and I'm all up for it, and I'm ready to go on this journey for however long, however many seasons it does. Hopefully, it doesn't overstay its welcome, like the sequel of the games. Hopefully, it just gets to the first game's conclusion, and that's where we end it. Fingers crossed. Don't ruin this. But so far, so good. I've loved it. It's not the game. If you are about, like, my first thing when they said they were doing a Last of Us TV show, I was like, easiest job on planet Earth. Look at the game, take every cutscene, take the script and the action and the characters and the dialogue and the movement and and just make it live action. Just take a cutscene from the video game and do it line for line, shot for shot, recreation in live action. And I'm sure they could have done that fantastically to a T. But in the world of TV, especially when it's a video game adaptation, they do it in books as well. The Harry Potter fans who have been, I know it's a bit controversial at the moment with Harry Potter as a genre, but bear with me. In the Harry Potter genre, when it was going from book to film, millions and millions and millions of fans of Harry Potter were annoyed that the books didn't translate to the screen the right way, in their opinion, because of what they've read. And a gamer has the very similar outlook. They've played that game, like the Halo games, for example. Played Halo, fell in love with the character, the world, the storyline, and everything, and the lore of that world. And then they get it seen on the TV, and it's trashed by the writers, and they've done a shit job. This is not the Halo TV show. This is fantastic. This is great. It's not the game. It's not shot for shot the game. It lingers on things and it answers questions you might have had about the game. But if you're a purist, like a gaming purist, and you're like, no, it has to be shot for shot the game, you might not like the show in its entirety, because there are certain scenes, like I'm just watching the watch scene right now where it's Joel's birthday and Ellie's giving him his watch, and the context of how she's giving him the watch is slightly different, but with the setup, but the payoff mirrors the game beautifully. Mirrors the game beautifully and expands on it a bit more. So it just takes questions and scenes and moments that you might have been thinking about whilst playing the game, and it shows you them in full. It doesn't rush past them. It doesn't make you, take you. It doesn't take you by the hand and walk you through your game shot for shot for shot. So don't be looking at this show as if it's going to do that, because I don't think, from what I've seen so far, it's not going to do that. It's definitely going to build and open and expand it a lot more. And this is the type of content that I wish I would have seen translated in the second video game. More of an extended prequel look of The Last of Us and moments that we missed from the first game. This is doing that beautifully. So far so good. 15 minutes in. It's scoring at 8 out of 10 and we're 15 minutes into the episode. If that doesn't tell you enough, then I don't know how I can explain it any better. And I'm a diehard Last of Us fan. Across multiple generations of PlayStation consoles, multiple replay throughs of the game. Love the storyline, love the world, love the characters. And this is beautiful. So let's crack on. So, half an hour in, just under half an hour in, we've had the apocalypse begin. The neighbors were sick, similar to the video game. Not again, not mirrored, but similar. The neighbors tried to attack Sarah when she entered their house. Um, Sarah ran outside. Joel saves Sarah, similar to how she's in her own house in the video game, and he comes in and he has to shoot the neighbor, Jimmy, or someone when he's a zombie, when he's infected. Joel's revolver has not made an appearance yet. I'm sure he'll get it at some point, and probably more in a sentimental way than in the video game. He just pulls it out of a drawer. So I'm assuming they made more of an emphasis on Tommy and Joel being ex-military veterans. So military fortitude, that it'll explain for the later in the show. It'll explain for like the gunplay that they have and the tactics that they have and the sense of it. Tommy's actor. I have no idea who he is. I've never heard of that actor before. Fantastic voice. Out of Sarah, Joel, and him, he has got the best, most video game accurate voice to Tommy I've ever heard. Fantastic, brilliant job. Um, brilliant job. The first look at a runner, like a biter or an infected, fantastic. Looks really creepy. The old lady, very cool, very interesting. I like that. That was very cool. The fungus was sticking out of her mouth. Very cool, very interesting. They then trying to get out of the highway. They did shot for shot perfectness when they were leaving, and they went past the burning house of a guy and that they knew, and then they were driving to the highway, and they couldn't get to the highway, but then they went across a field. That was new. That wasn't in the game. But then they met up by getting into the town like they do in the video game, and in the town they do get stuck, and all the pedestrians are in front of them. A truck comes into the side of them as if it's about to crash into them, like happens in the game. It didn't. It was a bait and switch. They did something a lot more visually, a lot more visually grand than a truck rear-ending them. Essentially, a plane crashed and blew up everywhere. So that was different to the game. But again, for the show, very visual, very loud and impactful, very cool visually. And then a piece of the plane, I believe, flew off and smacked into their truck. Their truck's now flipped over, and it's the bit where Sarah and Tommy and Joel are waking up in the truck after the crash. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, rolling on from here, we've got 51 minutes left, and already it's gone from that whatever we said 7 or 8. It's already up to that 9, nearly 10, and we're not even finished. We're not even close to the midway point. So let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. So far, so good. Wow. Okay, so now we've just had the first time jump to the 20 years later. So that was 2003. So this is 2023. So this is present day, and not scary at all. Wow. That was shot for shot perfect. I'm not going to say the scene because obviously if you're new and you've not seen the game, don't spoil it for yourselves. But that was shot for shot perfect and a good actress, very good actress. And Pedro and I got to find Tommy's actor's name, but those two great scenes, shot for shot perfection where it counts. Like I don't mind it not being like 100% game accurate as long as there's beats and there's moments you have to hit right, and that was one I was waiting for, and what a hit, what a good hit, really good work from the whole writers and the directors and the actors and everything. Really good work in that scene. Beautifully dark and brilliant way to open. So it takes us half an hour till it gets to the present day of the storyline, and now we're 20 years into the apocalypse. So the apocalypse started 2003 was the year it all went wrong, and we're now cutting 20 years later, which takes us to 2023, which is present day for the show, present day for us. How creepy is that? Right, so I'm going to watch this next chunk, and I'll wait till we get to like a sort of moment, and then I'll dial back in. It's a 10 out of 10, and it's not even over. So, God no, this amazing intro so far. Love it. Love it. So we're 50 minutes in, and we've got 28 minutes left to go. I've been silent for a really long time there. I'm sorry, but they've taken a little bit, and this is where I've got to state even more. If you're a video game purist, and the video game story is the perfect story, and that's what you have to go off to for the show to be perfect, it's going to take you out of it a little bit. You got to just play catch up in your brain a little bit. In the video game, they can stay in Boston, and if the segment of being in Boston, which is where the big sort of capital, which is the big sort of settlement is, that segment of the game feels so quick because it's like you're there, you see the fireflies causing terror, the soldiers trying to defend them, and you see Joel and Tess chasing down Robert because he stole Tess's guns or something like that, and then the boom, they fight each other and they end up bumping into Marlene, who eventually takes them to Ellie. It's very quick in the video game. It's very it goes really fast. It goes back to back to back to back to back, really really quickly and really really concise. This is a TV show. They want to milk it for the money. They want to milk it a little bit more. Someone's had to painstakingly create this big set and all these different set pieces and all these different parts and moving parts and settings. So of course they don't want to just blow it by going, here's Boston. Someone spent loads of time and effort making this. Now we're going to go to the next bit. And it's like, I get it. I get it for the sake of the TV show that you got to milk certain bits. You got to slow certain scenes down. You got to let them really chew the fat on them and just enjoy the scene for what it is. I get that. So as a video game diehard, I give it the benefit of the doubt for a little moment to let it wander and do what it needs to do. So it shows a little bit more of a cinematic dynamic between Tess and Robert. It shows a little bit of something mysterious happening with Ellie, where she's going under a fake name called Veronica, something completely different to the game. Cool. Um, we also then get to see Joel doing a bit of trading and bartering, which is a cool. Again, it's a bit of world building. It's kind of cool. We don't see much of that in the game, but it's really cool. The ration cards is the currency, and he swaps some guy who works in a radio station some cigarettes to get some information about Tommy and his whereabouts, and that doesn't happen in the game. Joel and Tommy in the video game, as far as we're concerned, have like fallen out and had a bit of a spat with each other, so they've gone their separate ways. Where this Joel seems to be a lot more worried about where Tommy is and if he's coming back, and it's been like 3 weeks or something since they've spoken to him or whatever. So it's now Joel getting ready. He wants a car battery, he wants a car, he wants a map. He's getting ready to leave and kind of go and look for Tommy. Is the gist that TV Joel is showing us. Tess is having a bit of trouble with Robert, and he screwed her on a job again. I think for a car battery or something. So there was a bit of back and forth in with that, and we've seen Ellie with these people, mysterious people, being quizzed and asked the same questions day in and day out and day in and day out, and we see her being held captive by these people. So again, they've taken a little detour from the original source material. That's okay. I'll give them the creative freedoms to have a little wander and have a little play around doing some other things. It's nothing too like, yeah, it's jarring straight away. It's quite straightforward. So I'll finish the last 28 minutes or so, and then we'll have a big final roundup and chat at the end. And I'm sorry it is a bit awkward, like I say, having to be mute for some of it, but it's just because the copyright music and the copyrighted dialogue, and I don't want HBO breathing down my neck. YouTube at the moment is really hard for making content that's reactive content because it only takes one person to press copyright claim, and if they're like HBO or someone like that, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So I do gladly thank you for bearing with me the best you can, and yeah, like I say, we'll watch the end of it and then I'll round it up. But looking forward to it. It's really good. It's really good. Really happy with it. I wasn't going to talk till the end of the episode, and we've got 23 minutes left. But oh god, my TV's just turned itself off. Why? But Marlene just had her first scene, which is that actress. Amazing, amazing. That's what I wanted to see for video game accuracy. She seems like a badass bitch, and I love it. She seems so cool. She seems so freaking amazingly cool. And I think she's going to be just a class act to follow. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. She's brilliant. And the mystery about it and the sense of it, oh, she's great. So very video game accurate Marlene. 10 out of 10 for the Marlene. Absolutely sensational acting from her. Smashes it. So I'm going to watch the rest of it. 23 minutes. I'll speak to you then and we'll round it up. But what a great introduction to Marlene, the Firefly Queen. Let's go. Okay, there we go. Get you guys unmuted. And then we can also flip. There we go. We got a nice little end credit. There we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have just watched together The Last of Us episode 1 from HBO. Recently, I played The Last of Us. Most of you amazing people who've been in the chat in today's live stream were there for parts of it, all of it, some of it, whatever it was. It was a privilege to have you come along. Just watched episode 1 of The Last of Us, and oh my god, what an amazing first episode. They did a very small number of deviations away from the main show, the main game, sorry, the main source material, just for the sake of TV purposes. I understood it completely. I understood the thought process and the rationale behind it. I understood it to the extreme levels that they did were beautiful. It was beautifully crafted, brilliantly made, fantastic first episode. It's a 10 out of 10 on episode 1. Go and watch it. Now TV, $9.99 a month. You can get Now TV in the UK, and it's, I think, the cheapest way of watching it. The alternative to that is if you're in the US, it's on HBO. So HBO or HBO Max. I don't know what that streaming service is over there, but oh my god, what an amazing episode! What a brilliant first episode! I absolutely loved it. I love Joel. Pedro does great as Joel. The actor for Tommy, I need to Google. He's phenomenal. Marlene's actress is sensational. What a good character pick for her. What a good actor pick for her. Brilliant talent for Marlene. Ellie is fantastic. Bella Ramsey crushes it, and I cannot wait. Tess was the one I was doubtful of because she just didn't have the look and the sound of Tess from the game. But she's warmed my heart and she's won me over. She's done great. What a good actor and a great talent all around. Fantastic characters, fantastic actors in the show, fantastic design, and we got a little snippet at the end of the first episode showing us a run through of the season. And I can't wait to see where we get up to. Saw a bit of Nick Offerman as Bill, and a new actor I've never seen before is Frank. All these different bloaters and clickers and infected and runners and all of this good stuff. We've got lots of stuff coming in episode 2. And like I say, it's great that we played the video game. If you've not seen the video game, I've got an entire 8-hour stream of it up on the channel right now. You guys can go and check it out. I'll try and link it at the bottom of this live stream description. You guys can go and check that out if you've not been in tuned with the show or the game before. Go and check out the game. We did an 8-hour stream. It was really good to reminisce. So basically, this is, if you didn't know, this is a video game that came out in 2013 for the PlayStation 3. Then we play it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, PlayStation 5. I've played it twice on there. So I've gone through it enough times to tell you that it's my favorite game series, my favorite game ever, practically. And what a phenomenal season 1 premiere. What a fantastic premiere. The Walking Dead has just left our screens. The mainline show has just closed. So I'm very sad to say that, but I'm looking forward to seeing some more zombie content in the form of The Last of Us. And what a fantastic first episode. Absolutely crushed it. A 10 out of 10 for episode 1. And I'll make a breakdown video of all my best bits and things like that talking about it. But I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching the live stream. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye for now. Peace.